I was raised by my parents to have a deep mistrust of people with cats. Now, I don't know why, we don't know why this has happened in our family, but cats seem to have a vendetta against anyone that is blood related to either my mother's side or my father's side. Like, my father, we could never mention cats around him because he was mortally afraid of them. He's not scared of anything, but he's mortally afraid of cats. We couldn't even say the word around him. It would be like invoking Voldemort. And my sister was almost murdered by a cat in New York. Really, it was her landlady's cat, and she got an allergic reaction to it, but that led to, like, adult asthma, so, but still. And then there's my mom and her legacy with a particular cat. So when I was 14 years old, me and my middle sister, Indu, were hanging out in the kitchen with my mom, and she was chopping onions for dinner. And suddenly she says, "Girls, you have to promise to be very careful about getting pregnant." Now, we didn't want to have this conversation because Indians don't have these kinds of conversations with their parents. And then she continued, "Girls, you have to promise, because my cousin, she had a cat baby." She goes, don't laugh, it's true. It's true. When my cousin Priya was pregnant, she was living with her mother-in-law, Lakshmi, and their cat. Now, Lakshmi and the cat hated Priya, and every time they would walk by her, they would both hiss at her. So Priya decided that she wanted to win over both her mother-in-law and the cat, so she's going to make some of our famous fish curry, kind of make for daddy, so good. So she's cooking the curry, and then one piece of fish falls from the pot and falls on her foot. Suddenly, the cat jumps on her foot and bites Priya's toe. Priya is so scared that she kicks the cat, and with that one kick, she killed the cat. Lakshmi is upset, but what to do? So the months go by, and finally it is the day for Priya to have her baby. And everybody is so excited. The doctor comes to the house, because then that is, in the old days, that is, the doctor comes to the house and you have the baby. And we are waiting. She is in labor for hours, and then hours, and then hours. And then it comes. A cat baby. It had the body of a baby, but it had that cat's head. And I'm looking at her like most of you are looking at me right now. And then, like, as if to give me irrefutable evidence, she says, "And you know what it said?" Meow. Then it jumped from the doctor's arms, crawled over to the fireplace in the kitchen, curled up, and died. And my sister Indu goes, "So, Mommy, did you kick a pig when you were pregnant with Vijay?" My sister is so mean. I understood what my mom was saying. I didn't believe in the cat baby, but she just believed in it so much. And I knew that, I just had to take to heart that she was telling me that cats are terrible and that karma is a bitch. So I, stayed away from cats most of my life up until the time that I was around 22 years old. And that was when I was engaged to my college boyfriend, and we had to visit his family on Long Island. And his mom had a cat. And I was desperate for her to like me. So I knew I needed to get over my gatophobia and try to just make friends in any way that I could, because my brownness wasn't her choice of future daughter-in-law. So there was really nothing I could do to please her, but I thought maybe if the cat can just like me. So, and the cat, okay, the cat's name is Mauvey. And its name is Mauvey because it is the color mauve, or mauve. And she's got this like pink-ish fur, but she's long-haired, so she has this pink and white and gray kind of fur. And she should be an indoor cat, but she goes out all the time and comes back covered in leaves and chicken bones, and she looks like that Pet Cemetery cat, like that comes back from the grave and is evil. That is Mauvey. So one day we're sitting in the family's mauve sectional. Everything in the house is mauve. And we're watching The Young and the Restless. And suddenly, Mauvey jumps up next to me. And so I'm thinking, this is my chance. So I start to pet Mauvey. And then she starts to purr. And Steve's dad, Mr. Gold, says, hey, look, Mauvey likes Vijay. Mauvey likes Vijay. Look at that. Iris Mauvey likes Vijay. And Mrs. Gold says, yeah, that's nice. And so I keep petting Mauvey, because now I'm thinking, well, if Mauvey likes me, then Mrs. Gold is going to like me. And then eventually one day, maybe I'll make Mauvey the ring bearer, and then Mrs. Gold is gonna love me, and then maybe I am becoming a cat person, and I can actually end this vendetta that my family has with cats. And then suddenly, Mauvey flips onto her back and grabs my hand with both of her paws, and bites down into my hand like this. And she won't let go. And I'm like, I can't shove her, because then Mrs. Gold will hate me, and then a really creepy feeling of deja vu comes over me, and I start to think about the cat baby. And Steve and his dad, they get up and they finally pry her mouth off of my hand. And they both go and they run around the house looking for a first aid kit. And I'm just trying not to bleed onto the mauve couch. And Mrs. Gold hasn't moved a muscle. In fact, she's sitting just like in the center of that U sectional, and hasn't moved, and now Mauvey is curled up in her lap. And I just said, I don't know what happened. Everything was fine. And she says, Vijay, didn't you hear her warning purr? A warning purr? What the fuck is a warning purr? Well, it did warn me enough to not eventually get married to Steve. And now I choose not to be with people who have cats. Thank you.